Hey guys, what's up? Arthur here, and welcome back to Let's Play Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. This is in fact the finale video, and in the last episode we took care of map Lonely Isle from the extra trial maps. In this episode we will be doing Strange Turn. It seemed like an odd demand. Fight a group of our choosing. If you survive, we'll free the hostages. Ike considers these numbers and agrees to their terms. Victory, rout enemy. So in this episode we will be taking care of this map, which is kind of small. Like, this is probably the shortest map, but it's also very enclosed. As you can see, we're pretty much surrounded right from the get-go. So, let's go ahead and get started here. Now, the big thing for this map is to, I would say, probably knock out the bishops. As you can see right here, I'm rotating their sprite with the C-stick, which is apparently something you have to unlock by beating the game. I'm not sure why, but it is. But really, the best strategy going into this is to take in units with you that are very high power. For this, I am going to be showing off the last of our unlockable characters for trial maps, Ashnard. Obviously, I'm taking Ike with me, so that only leaves 4, so there's not a lot of room to choose here, in the sense of what you'll have left. So, what I'm going to say is you want characters that can do very high power. They need to be able to kill an enemy in one attack cycle. It might take 2 hits to kill them, but as long as they can get them in one round of battles, that's what's important. So you need very high power characters for this. The reason being is there's reinforcements pretty much every turn, and I think every turn has 3 or 4, and since you've only got 6 characters at max, you're going to be able to get 6 kills per turn, so you need to be able to have more than the reinforcements that are coming in. So you need to have at least 5 out of your 6 characters being able to get a kill every single round. Now, most of these enemy units will move. The ones that will not are just the bishops that I showed at the start here. And in case it wasn't obvious from that statement, that means I'm also doing post-commentary, which you already know if you saw the update video that I posted probably either the same day as this or the day before this. It just kind of depends on what I had schedule-wise, and if I had enough time to actually put both into the uploader. Regardless, that's pretty much your strategy going in for this. If you want to take somebody like Rolf, just keep in mind that they will likely get swarmed at the start pretty easily, so they need to have good dodge. And the reason for that is because a lot of the units, obviously, are they're one-range unit. They're swords masters or halberdiers that don't have any range, so they will immediately try to go after him because they know he can't counterattack. So for that reason, if you're going to use an archer, be very careful. Anybody with low health, be very careful. A very good strategy for this, at least at the start, is to pick one of the 4 corners and clear it out of enemies, which means taking out about 3 enemies, which, for the bishop, usually those won't be too hard to kill, but with the swords masters it might prove a little bit more difficult, solely because their speed is high enough to where you may not necessarily be able to double them. Of course, if you get a critical on them, then it wouldn't really matter. So thankfully, Rolf did manage to pull that off there. So regardless, again, I'm going to go ahead and say one more time, this is post-commentated, this is the last episode as well, and I will give you fair warning, I am pretty much over being sick, like I mentioned in the update video, but in addition to that, I am also still dealing with a little bit of a cough left, and because of that, I have not been talking much recently, so if my throat goes dry, I do have something to drink right here, but if there's a slight pause in the commentary, that's probably what it is. He says as he takes a drink. Nice, get adept on this guy. Get him out of here. So the big plan for this really is to try to get Soren and Rolf in the corner, at least for whenever I did this. Get Soren and Rolf in the corner and then use the remaining characters, Zahark, Ike, Jill, and Ashnard, in order to shield them. So they'll be able to attack from a distance, and they can also keep everybody else out of harm's way by essentially being meat shields, but most of these guys are powerful enough to where they will probably either dodge it or just not take any damage at all, even if they did manage to get hit. So, with that being said, like I said, very high-powered characters. You want high offense, high defense. High resistance really isn't too big of an issue here, because, like I said, the bishops do not move, and I don't think there's any mage units on this board. So really, high offense, high defense, or if you don't want to use high defense, you can use high speed, or a combination of both of those. But you will want enough to where you can get somebody that will be getting a kill every round. So, as you can see, I pretty much walled off everybody where I wanted them to be, but what I did with Ike was I actually started moving him around the board. He does still have the Night Ring, so he was at least able to use that to some advantage. But through doing this, you'll be able to take out the bishops, and that will make this go a lot faster. Some of the units that can't reach your group in the corner will probably go after Ike, and because Ike has Ragnail, he will be able to attack from a range if you need him to. And he can pretty much kill everything in one hit, and since you're not ever really going for anything other than clearing the map, rather than, you know, trying to get experience or whatnot, you are more than able to spam your units in this mode. So for that reason, using Ike's a very good strategy. Of course, with a guy like this Axe user, the Warrior, he's not going to be able to hit Ike at all. Ike can also activate any skills if he, you know, potentially he can activate Ether, anything else that you put on him whenever you're going through the story mode with him. So he is a very good choice in being able to take out pretty much any enemy unit type. That's why he's considered one of the best lords. But as you can see, enemies are just going to run at him if they can't reach this group over here. And probably suicide. Anything that can reach is going to be dealing with either Ashnard, Jill, or Zahark. And with Ashnard, that's pretty much guaranteed that they're going to die. He's usually not fast enough to double, but he is pretty much going to one-shot most things. And no, I cannot double those Sword Masters, but they are very high speed, so probably the Sword Masters are going to be your biggest threat, and the fact that you likely cannot get them in one round unless you've got a very fast character. So they'll be the ones you're having to watch out for primarily. I believe, though, the majority of the reinforcements on this map are either Warriors or Halberdiers, and so their speeds might be high, but they're not going to be that high, so you should be able to get them each. Yeah, see, there we go, 2 Halberdiers, 2 Sword Masters. So again, because I know that the units are going to go after Ike, I'm just going to move them straight to the Bishop and just deal with the Bishops as they come. I would do a little bit of an update here, but I'm not going to... Well, I will talk about it, but not as much as I did in the update video. Just keep in mind, for anybody that's been asking why there not been a lot of updates recently, I've been sick 3 different times in like the last month and a half or so. I started out with a cold, and my dad gave me the flu. And then while I had the flu and he got better, he ended up getting pneumonia, and he gave me that as well because I was trying to keep him away from my mom, who has a bad immune system. So, been sick 3 times, been dealing with a lot of homework from university because I've got the head of the English department for one of my English classes. And as you can well expect, that means way too much homework. Like, seriously, it could be enough homework for just 1 semester, and I've got 3 other classes I'm taking that are not near as bad. It's more homework in that class than it is the other 3 combined, and it's supposed to be an introduction class, you know, like one a freshman would take. So it's a little bit ridiculous what they're expecting of us for that class. Regardless, it's been a combination of being sick, not having the time because of school. Been working a little bit, not as much as I would like to. I'd like to be able to work more, and because I've not been working that much, and also been making sure that I can help my folks pay for my mom's surgery because of her having stomach problems, she has to get a surgery done. The surgery's done at this point that I'm recording this, and it went fine, so there's no need to worry about that or anything, but still, hospital bills are incredibly expensive, as you can well imagine. Nice! Zahark, what'd you miss? Come on now, don't do that. So, some of my money has been going towards that, and yes, it was my own choosing, not my parents' choosing, but for that reason, and also I need to start saving up for my own place to live whenever I finish college, as well as wanting to travel here and there. I would probably not be getting a Switch at launch. At some point I will probably pick one up. If the price doesn't go down, that's okay. I still think the price that they're asking is relatively reasonable, especially from, you know, starting at launch. I think $300 is pretty reasonable. But I will not be getting one at launch. I'll probably not be doing any Let's Plays on those anytime soon, because obviously I would like to have one. I'm not going to be borrowing a friend's system or anything. So, as Let's Plays goes, this one is going to be done after this video is over with and taken care of. Mario Baseball, I've got 3 more videos that I have to do post-commentary for because I lost the audio for those as well because it got corrupted. And after that, it'll just kind of be playing it by ear. It's really just going to depend on what kind of free time I have. So, there's your update in a nutshell as I'm going and killing these enemies in post-commentary. Joe gets to take out her arch-nemesis. Her archer-nemesis, I should say. Archer actually is a pretty good show. If you haven't seen Archer, I recommend you watch it. Apparently, it gets a little bit stale later on. I've only seen the first 2 seasons. I did actually finish Season 2 at some point. But apparently, they start, like, reusing the same jokes at some point, and it gets a little bit annoying, or at least the ones that were really popular in the first seasons, they start kind of over-abusing it to heck and back, so... I may not end up watching anymore, but if you want to see what it's like, the first 2 seasons are pretty solid as a whole if you like that kind of humor. It's kind of like James Bond meets The Office, but a very goofy James Bond. So if you like the kind of humor from The Office, except a little bit more adult, then you will probably enjoy that. It's a little bit gory, but not really too bad, all things considered. So there you go, that's it. It only took 3 turns, thanks to Ike just going around killing everything. A for Tactician, A for Survival, D for Battle, total rank B. I'm going to guess the reason that I have a D in the Battle is probably because Ike did the majority of the killing. I'm going to guess that's what it is. I don't think it's taken damage in Battle so much as it is maybe just, like, one character did most of the fighting. So right here you can view the illustrations for the game, just going over some of the extra features. You can get other illustrations if you plug in the right Fire Emblem game. You can get illustrations from Fire Emblem 7, Sacred Stones, and I believe there's another one, but I'm not sure which one it is. Now, some of these illustrations you've probably already seen, but I'm just going to scroll through them here. Well, I'd say I'm going to scroll through them, but past me was scrolling through them. Future me is just talking over them. But they're really cool illustrations. Of course, you're able to find any of these online that you want. I'm sure, use them for a background, whatever. Some of them actually are pretty cool, though. And I believe most of the characters are in, like, their default... yeah, like, Volk, for example. They're always in their default class. So, like, Volk class changed into Assassin, but they don't have an Assassin version. So you've got all, like, of the first classes, whatever they start as. I think for later ones that actually do start as Class 2, they should end up being, like, a Sage or whatever. Let's see if we can find one here whenever it shows up. There's Pinky. Good old Pinky. That's what we used to call him, was Pinky, because he had pink hair. Of course, that was from whenever a friend and I played Radiant Dawn a lot. Yeah, Devdan's halberdier, so he's got his halberdier outfit. He doesn't have, like, a soldier outfit, per se. But they're just kind of little cool, small illustrations you can view. Really, these don't serve too much purpose for the game, just kind of a little extra thing. These are unlocked by beating the game, if I remember correctly, which I probably already talked about them, but yeah, beat the game once on any difficulty, you'll get these illustrations. I don't even think you have to recruit the characters in order to get them, so if you, like, let somebody die or whatever, the illustration for that character should still show up, because I think there's a few here that aren't characters or that are playable. Well, Tabarn is playable. You get to choose between Himne Sala and Jifsa at the last stage. I think there's at least one, though. Ashnard might be in here? No, I guess not. Maybe it is just the playable characters. Huh. Interesting. I figured they'd have a couple more. Sound room right here, as you can probably guess, this will allow you to go through the different tracks that are in the game. The little background, too, will change, and you can close that out by pressing B. Ike looks really confused. He's like, what's going on here? But yeah, this is where you can view all of the game's original soundtrack, of course. Again, you can also look this up online. It's definitely been up online by now. Kind of goes without saying. The beautiful Fire Emblem theme. What would we do without you? I have played Fire Emblem Heroes a little bit, like, between classes on the way walking to class. It is a lot of fun. I've got 2 5-star characters. I'm training one of them right now. That's a Wind Mage. And then I've got an Archer for my other 5-star. And then a Wyvern Rider, an Axe Wyvern Rider for one of my 4-stars. And the other 4-star is a Lance Pegasus Knight, I believe. So that's pretty much all you can do in the sound room. Again, just kind of viewing the sounds here and there. Not really anything too big. The theater, as we call it. Not really. This just shows all the cutscenes that are in the game. It's got the first one starting out when Ike's fighting his father, and then dreams about his mother when he gets his butt kicked by Grail. You've got the you've got like the 5-second clip of the Fire Emblem. I'm not sure why they show that one. You have Grail's fall, where of course he's killed by the Black Knight. The Gathering, that's like after Chapter 15, that's like all the Laguz Royals meeting up together, and apparently some of the other characters, even though they don't tell Ike about it. That's the forest being restored, of course, to its natural state, and then, of course, United is... I almost said Untied. My dyslexia almost kicked in, even though I'm not dyslexic. It is, of course, the ending cutscene where you've got Ike trying to comfort now Queen Alencia. Right here, you've got the Connect option. This is where, of course, if you were playing this on a proper GameCube and not a Wii, like I was, you'd be able to use the little Game Boy player and the Game Boy Advance and connect to your Game Boy Advance cartridge of Fire Emblem Sacred Stones or Fire Emblem 7 and be able to get that additional content. This is the thing you would go to. So, that's pretty much it. That's all the extras modes in the game. We went through the story mode, showed off everything else that I wanted to show off, so that's pretty much it. Since this project is now completed, I'm not going to start a new one just yet. If I continue to do something, it will probably be just like something that I felt like doing that's a very short series, but for now I'm just going to keep it to Mario Baseball, and I will work on new projects like starting in the summer unless I finish Mario Baseball as well. If both of them get finished, then I will surely try to put something up between now and the end of, the end of the school year. So we're kind of just playing it by ear, but for now, Fire Emblem is definitely done. I'm not going to do Radiant Dawn immediately after this. I might replay it at some point, but definitely not immediately after. So, thank you guys for sticking through with me on this. I know this project went on for a long time, but it is finally over. So thank you all for watching. Hopefully you will all get through the school year with minimal injuries, because I know I'm certainly not. And I will see you in the next one. Later.